You're on.
We're here today with Dr. Ibrahim Jaffe, who will be coming to the Twin Cities March 8th through 10th for a workshop entitled The Four Doors, Finding Real Meaning and Fulfillment in Your Life. During this weekend, Ibrahim will reveal Sufi spiritual teachings to help open four areas of our lives. Now, Ibrahim, one of the doors you speak of is divine spiritual healing. Can you talk a little bit about what distinguishes Sufi healing compared to some of the other healing modalities we may be familiar with, both conventional and alternative?
Well, Sufi healing, in essence, is, you could say, is how do we call to God so that God responds and sends healing to the body or the heart or the soul or the mind or, the emotions. And is there a way to get that response? Because we know that God can have miracles. We've seen that, many recorded miracles where God has sent angels or just has sent light, and tumors have disappeared and people have gotten healthy in just one moment. So is there a way to get to essentially call to God to get that involvement? And in the Sufi tradition, we've learned that yes, there is a way to do that, and it's very simple, really. What we've learned from our prophets are that God responds to those people who care for themselves in a deep way. In other words, when people are getting to know themselves, that there's a response from God. God wants us to know ourselves. And the second thing is that those people who return to God also have a way, God responds to people who are seeking that return or that turning back towards the one. And in Sufi healing, we have found that the combination of the two leads to the best results for people's healings. So if we can find the deeper core reasons why we're sick, in other words, why does somebody really get sick? Well, for example, I have a friend of mine who I've spoken about who has Lyme's disease. When he looked into the Lyme's disease and he got to the core of it, he realized that he was very frightened of his own enlightenment, his own awakening. It was very terrifying to him. And that the Lyme's was the closing down of that experience. So when we got to the root of it and were able to wash away his fears so that he could open to the possibility of it, using the divine names of God, there are 99 of those, we washed that away, and what happened was very extraordinary. Well, first of all, his mind cleared, and all of the encephalopathy that came when the Lyme's disappeared. The second thing is he went deeper in his own spiritual growth, and he became closer to awakening to what he was seeking. So the teachings of washing away the core and then returning us closer to God are the keys of Sufi healing. And my experience now, with 30 years of doing this type of work, is that it almost never fails. It works so deeply in people's consciousness that almost everybody gets better, and many, many people have really complete healing across the board.
So, Ibrahim, the people that will be coming to see you when you come to the Twin Cities in March, can they expect to really understand how to move through this process that you've described for themselves in their own healing that they might want for themselves?
Absolutely. We're going to be looking at the four doors, and one of those doors we'll be spending, 2 or 3 hours really getting a sense of the process of how we address these initial, what's the passage to find the deeper core, that is causing the disease. In other words, what's behind it? Why is somebody sick? For example, this morning I had a woman that has chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, emphysema, and she didn't understand why she had it. But when we did this process, she was able to find out that behind it, she felt suffocated by her mom, and that had led to the emphysema. And the process of getting to those memories of suffocation and the core issues around it, and the process of getting out of it, we'll be discussing in the Four Doors workshop coming up.
Well, Ibrahim, I appreciate your insights today, and I know that we'll really look forward to exploring those insights further in our own personal healing journeys when you come to the Twin Cities March 8th through 10th at the Richardson Nature Center in Bloomington. So, Ibrahim, thank you very much, and we're looking forward to it.
You're very welcome.